Hey everybody, welcome to my live on processing grief and information. So, over the weekend, I found out a really close friend passed away, and I've known this person for like most of my life. Um, and so, once I got over the initial, oh, shock, I continued with a bit of life as normal, but still, often would have a few moments of tears and not being able to do things. And then the next thing was that I felt okay again. Um, and another friend said to me, "Oh, like, how are you dealing with it? Like, why are you not like even more upset than what you normally would be? And like, like, why are you not upset? Why are you not crying like I am? I can't stop crying." And I thought about it and I thought, well, the way I deal with things is in layers. And this isn't just in grief, but as someone who has the diagnosis of autism and ADHD, is that I, I like process information very differently and I process it in layers. And those layers mean that sometimes I'll be really upset, but other times I'll be fine and I can go about my day and then I'll be upset again. But when the emotions do hit, they do hit me hard. Like I will cry and cry and then I'll come back to it. But it got me thinking about the way, oh, hello Daniel, welcome. It did get me thinking about how I process information as a whole. So how I process stress, how I process when someone's trying to explain something to me or things like that. And as a person who is not self-diagnosed, I'm clinically diagnosed with autism and ADHD, so it's AUDHD. I am acutely aware that I process information so vastly different to other people. And I remember getting the diagnosis and thinking, no wonder I don't understand people at times, and no wonder they don't understand me. Like it's something that when I see people who self-diagnose with autism and ADHD, I'm like, oh, really? Do you have the meltdowns that I have? Do you have the times where you feel completely unheard, misunderstood, and it creates stress? Like, do you actually feel that? Do you feel that when someone's saying, don't worry about it, and almost being dismissive? Do you feel that is almost a rejection? Because that's how I do. Hi, Rocky. Thanks for being here. Thanks for those that have hit the like button. If you're watching on replay, we're talking about grief and processing of information. Hi, Zabini. Sorry if I say your name wrong, I apologize. Hello, I'm not sure the first part, but you've got play in your name, so hello and welcome. So grief is something that we all experience differently, and losing a friend, a loved one leaves a gap in your life, and losing a pet can do the same thing. And I think that we have to honor how everybody deals with grief in their own way, and how we communicate and support people is not always the same way. So, for example, if I'm supporting somebody, I tend to say to them, so what can I do for you? How can I help you? What do you need from me? Because they know themselves better than anyone else what they need. But other people like you to think about what they may need. Now, I remember speaking to a psychologist about this, and I said, I try to work out what other people might need or want in their time of grief or illness or whatever, but I'm not them. Like, I don't know what they want. I could offer them food, I could, give them a call, I can give them space. So in my world, I need to ask somebody what they would like from me or how they would like to be supported versus assuming that I know. So do you tend to tell people the support you need, or do you tend to want them to work it out for themselves, what you might need, what might be nice? Um, Often I've had people in times of when I've been unwell, or I've, you know, experienced loss, and they've brought food around, they've, done extra check-ins and things like that. And that change of routine for me is actually disruptive. For me, if people start texting or calling more or calling in more, then I adapt to that. And then when they stop doing it, I go through a sense of loss again. Um, and I've spoken to other people who have a diagnosis of things like ADHD, and they've said, yeah, I find it really disruptive when that pattern changes, when that routine changes. So it's really interesting how we all process things differently, and how the expectations are of others, the expectations that others have of us, the expectation that we fit into a certain criteria. I know I don't fit into the world a lot. I actually don't understand I understand it from a clinical perspective. I can understand a lot, but from an emotional perspective, yeah, I don't understand a lot of things, or a lot of the way people, but it doesn't mean I don't judge them. Hi, Bryson. Hi, Gray. I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about. So one of the things is that, and excuse my voice today, my throat is very inflamed at the moment, so I do apologize that my voice will come and go. Hi, Evie. Oh, sorry, Ivy. Sorry, Ivy. Hi. Thank you for those that are liking. I appreciate it. Appreciate you all being here. I'm not going to stay on long because my voice is going to go. But I just wanted to bring up the topic of how we all process information and experiences differently. And, I find that, if something is really on my mind, it takes all my concentration, it takes all my energy, and it can be really challenging at times to try and explain that to people, that I get lost in and have a hyper focus on certain things, and I can't let it go until I understand it. Once I understand it, it's better. But the way we process grief and the way we process information can give us some insights into that, a little bit more about understanding ourselves. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Bryson. Appreciate those kind words. So for me at the moment, I'm writing, I've got one book finished, and I'm editing that. And okay, is it Gulba? I'm not really understanding your message, sorry. So basically, at the moment, as I said, I've written one book, I'm editing that, and I'm writing another book, and I'm about to have an event in August. And so there's a lot that takes my attention, but also getting the news of my friend this weekend, and also being around my dad's birthday, I wanted to just take a moment to honor and say that, grief is a cycle, and we all deal with grief in a different way. And, there is no right or wrong way to deal with grief. And it's about processing what that means for us and how we feel it. And then the cognitive processing as well, because often we can make sense of something which can help our emotions. But also too, being neurodivergent, my emotions can fluctuate a lot as well. Those emotions can feel very raw and draining and exhausting, and then other times I can use them to channel that energy into, say, the work I'm doing. So I'm going to be wrapping this up shortly, and I'm going to go in and do a bit of work on the book that is going to help a lot of people. It's the book that I'm writing is on this strategy of how to be able to shift energy and state to then, be able to keep going. It doesn't mean that when we shift that state or shift that focus, that where we're moving from is wrong and it doesn't need processing. That's right. I agree with what you said. Thank you. Appreciate that. So sometimes we can stay stuck in a situation or an emotional state, and it's not healthy to stay in that state all the time, right? Like, so I'll have moments of grieving for my friend, and then I will pick up and I will keep going on with life, and then I'll have other moments where I grieve again, and this is the cycle of grief. But this is also how I can process information and emotions, because I feel things deeply. I just can't always articulate it or show it the way people would like me to, which is confusing for them as much as it's confusing for me. So I came up with this strategy to help me, and then I share it with other people. It's called KBA, and I will share more about KBA very soon. I just want to get the book done as well, and the book talks to how it came about and how it can help in your life, as well as a way of knowing yourself even more. And the more we understand ourselves, and the more we understand how we process information and how we process our emotions, and how we can then articulate what we actually need from other people, is so important. Because the more we can know ourselves and the level that we can understand ourselves, we don't have to agree with other people. But if we can stand up and say, hey, you know what, this is how I deal with this information. So this is how I deal with grief. This is, excuse me for the interruption, but how old are you? Well, firstly, I'm a female, so not sir. So I don't feel that my age is actually relevant, but thank you for the question. So the biggest thing is that in life, what I have learnt and what I've taught my children is that, be yourself with respect, and be yourself in a genuine way as much as possible, but always show other people respect. And also, be mindful that we are all very different, and that we all view this world in a very different way. And this is what's important. We, generations grow up in different ways. I remember speaking to someone recently who is in their 80s, and I said, do you think life was easier or harder, like easier when you were growing up than it is now? Or do you think it was harder? And he said, we had less things we didn't have internet, we didn't have phones. But so while it was harder in some ways, it was simpler. And he said, and with that simplicity came easiness, if that makes sense. So having modern technology isn't always a good thing. It has its place, it has its benefits. And sometimes getting out and just spending time away from technology and away from computers and all of that actually helps to reduce the stimulus or the stimuli that we're experiencing. And it helps us to keep a baseline in our life. And unfortunately, oh, thank you. I feel horrible saying your name because you are not stupid. So stupid, stop, motion. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm not calling anybody stupid. I'm just trying to read the name. So thank you for your comment. So every generation is going to go through what is good and what is challenging. And I look at the world today and I think back to when I was a child, and we didn't have computers and internet. So I don't know, how good it is to have them all the time. I think it's really important to have a balance. I mean, here we are. I'm on the internet right now. Hi, Luke and Blythe. Thank you for being here. I am going to probably be wrapping this up in a minute or two. I can feel my voice going, so And I've got a book to finish. I've got another book to finish. So a lot of the work I do is empowerment coaching, and I bring a different lens to it through my neurodivergence. And I've also, developed personality profile tools as well for people to just empower people to know themselves. And grief processing is a really important part. No, there's no cactus behind me. There's trees behind me, but there's no cactuses. Actually, no, the baby cactuses are over to the side. So yeah, that's what we've been talking about today, is grief and how we process information and how we process things for ourselves and our life. And then through knowing how we process things is then helping us to hopefully communicate things. I often say to people that, if there's a lot of background noise, I'm not going to hear you properly. So if I get you to repeat things, that's what's going on for me. If there's a lot of light, you might find me pull out my sunglasses because the light sensory is too much for me. So I am still trying to be present with you. I'm just going to probably do things. So yeah, but grief is something that it has a cycle, and if we can be aware of that cycle and aware of what we need, then we can always get the right support. And taking our time to find our way to communicate exactly what it is that we need ourselves is so important. It's something that is really important for our health and our well-being as well. Grief can take its toll on us, just like stress can. So the more we can have a balance of what we love, what we enjoy, is really important. So guys, okay, technically, so it's telling me I've got less than 2 minutes to get to 20 minutes on this live. I didn't want to go live for very long today. I'm just, got work to do, got books to finish writing. Every time I think about like the KBA strategy and how it helps people, and also unique success signature, that's a blueprint that I take people through that helps them as well. I love seeing people have those aha moments in their life. Those moments where they're like, yes, this makes sense, and I'm feeling so much better, and I can, go out there and take action for my goals. Or maybe the action is not doing anything at all. Maybe the action is having a quiet day and reading a book. Sometimes there's no action is needed, but yeah, the more we know ourselves and how we process grief, how we process information, and then take care of ourselves, the better we are in our, like, for our life, for our health, for our relationships. It's so important to do all of that. Self-care is important. It's something that, if we're stressed all the time, if we're pleasing people all the time, then we're not putting ourselves first. And it's not selfish to take some time out for you. It's not selfish to have boundaries in place. And as I go through this bit of grief of losing a friend, there'll be moments where I'll just want quiet time and space and taking care of me. So yeah, I hope that whatever day or time it is for you, that you have an amazing day, evening, night, like whatever it is my Monday. So I do need to get a bit more work done. But I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the support. I just randomly do lives. I don't tend to plan them very often because I just never know if I'm going to have a voice or not. But I do enjoy connecting with new people for the right reasons. And if you're new to this channel, I'd love you to hit subscribe. It's all about empowerment. And yeah, and random lives. I just never know when I'm going to show up. So thank you for that. I feel that the greatest, happiest in life is ordinary day life. It can be. It really can be. And that's the thing. We are all different. So what is right for one person is not right for someone else. And this is where knowing what is right for each of us is so important. So I am going to leave it here. Just feel like I'm pushing really hard to get my voice out. Take care of you. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it. But we just talk about random stuff. Sometimes I do lives from road trips. And other times you'll see me talk all about my services. But yeah, I'm super excited to be bringing this new book out. KVA strategy, 60 seconds and you can change state and change energy. So it's pretty cool. I've been using it for 20 years and just thought it was time to share it with more than just my coaching clients. So thank you for being here. Thank you to those that hit that like button. Totally appreciate all of you. And I'm gonna go in and do a bit of work. Bye for now.